Okay, Lissa, this is your Nord Dragonknight two-handed fighter video. As you can see, we have one each Nord Dragonknight fighter. Okay, first we're going to go into stats. We're going to have Magicka at 0, Health at 0, Stamina at 64 for this video. You have 10 in Health, which is fine. Just put the rest in Stamina and you'll be good. Our representative for the evening will be Svetlana. So if I could wave, I would do it from this menu, but there's no point. We have ESO Plus member, which has absolutely nothing to do with except for getting benefits, but it will not affect combat. These three buffs are all based off Flames of Oblivion, which, as you can obviously see, is running right now. We'll get to that in a minute. Okay, now that we've covered the basic stats, we're gonna go to inventory. And under inventory we have apparel. Our apparel, as you can see, it's all medium armor. This medium armor is not dyed or anything. This is just basically the appearance it came with. I have 7 pieces here, which I like using for this build, but is not necessary. The minimum is 5 pieces, and I'll show you why later. But largely for stamina recovery and regeneration, and of course, reduced stamina usage. The other 2 pieces can be whatever you want, doesn't really matter, and of course jewelry will be what you want, and I would recommend stamina reduction over recovery. I'll show you why on that again later. Also, as you can see, the armor has been degraded about 50% to show you that even though this is gold quality, that it does not matter what the armor is as long as it's at least medium to get the bonuses. It's the build that matters, not the gear. Well, entirely. Of course, gear always matters a little bit. Now for weapons, I have a two-handed main and a two-handed offhand. The main purpose of this is to be able to switch back and forth without any problems and have two-handed on both. You can switch to have a dual wield in your off, and I'll show you how to do that as well. Now that we go there, let's go ahead and go into our skills, since we're now covering that. And we'll start with the basics. Ardent Flame. You want all your passives in Ardent Flame, period. Out of Ardent Flame, we'll be using primarily Flames of Oblivion. We'll be using Unstable Flame, and perhaps Standard of Might or Burning Breath, but that would be a personal preference. Dragonknight Power. We'll be using Hardened Armor, and all the passives from within, which are incredibly good, I might add. Now, for Earth and Heart, we'll be using Corrosive Armor, Molten Armaments, and the passives within, especially Battle Roar. When activating an ultimate restores health, magic, and stamina amounts increased by 70% of the ultimate's cost. Now we're going to go into weapon, two-handed, primary of course. We're going to be using Critical Rush, Wrecking Blow, Executioner, and Rally, and all passives within. We can also use Dual Wield, which is an option. Passives, of course, essential. Steel Tornado, and possibly Flurry. Now as far as armor, I'm using all medium. The biggest reason I'm using all medium, and this can be up to you, is Elude is a part of my build. And Elude gets a 5% extension for every piece of medium armor you have. You also have all the passives within, which increase based on how much medium armor you have, which of course is movement speed, weapon damage, of course. You have Sneak, which is not a big deal. You have Windwalker, which reduces the stamina cost by 21%, and 28% recovery while using all medium. And Dexterity, which is also positive. Now World, don't worry about it. Guild, doesn't really matter with the exception of Evil Hunter. Evil Hunter will be a replacement for Flames of Oblivion if at any point you're doing a dungeon that is all Daedra. The reason is is it's normally balanced unless it's Daedra. Now you have a 15% chance to cause 4,000 magic damage and restore 840 stamina. You are a stamina build. Anytime you restore stamina, that is a positive thing. And of course, while slotted, you get the exact same weapon critical bonus as Flames of Oblivion. Of course, it has to be Daedra or it doesn't count. Mage's Guild, not to worry. Undaunted, the passives with Undaunted. Activating an ally's synergy restores 4% of your max health, stamina, and magicka. Which of course you need more stamina. Always more stamina. Alliance War, Assault. Normally this does not matter much. However, Caltrops, if you have it, Razor Caltrops is an amazing AoE. It can often be used in replacement of Critical Charge, simply because if it's a large group of enemies, Critical Charge is basically just going to put you in the center of them so they can all surround and tear you apart. Some of the passives are also good. Support, again, passives can be good, not a big deal though. Racial. All your racials as always. I'm not going to add these racials because I want to show that any race can play this. It doesn't really matter. Again, the build is more important than the race. Crafting, whatever you want, though I would recommend alchemy simply because there you can actually make potions at high levels that have a 30% longer time, and you can make potions that actually restore all three of your stats, not just one stat, which is always good. Now that we've done that, let's go into the abilities we're actually using. Bar 1, you have Rally 4. Focus your strength to gain major brutality, increasing your weapon damage by 20%. Also heals you for 641 for every 2 seconds, an additional 991 when the effect ends. The final heal is increased in proportion to the length of time Rally has been active, which is 33 seconds. You can pop it early to go ahead and speed dump that additional effect and then start it back up again if necessary. Again, you have Wrecking Blow. All two-handed builds use Wrecking Blow. It's pretty much a staple. Wrecking Blow, when slamming with an upward swing, deals 6,000 damage, knocking them back 4 meters and stunning them. You also get Empower. The next attack does 20%. You want to do that with a heavy attack because you'll get the max benefit out of a heavy attack. Okay, Executioner. Executioner spins around, strikes an enemy down, dealing 2,206 physical damage. But it's additional 300% damage against enemies with less than 50% health. And all two-handed abilities deal 18% extra damage to low health targets. 300% damage. They get below 50% health, they die. Okay, Molten Armaments. Charge your weapons with volcanic power to increase the damage of your fully charged heavy attacks 43%. All heavy attacks go 43%. You do 43% additional damage off a heavy attack, an additional 20% off a Wrecking Blow. That's 63% additional damage on your heavy attack. And again, it's increased against 150% against enemies with less than 50% health. Again, you can see this execution death phase if something gets below 50% health. And then Flames of Oblivion, which gives major prophecy and major savagery. Basically, spell and weapon crit is boosted by 10%, and a fireball will continuously every 5 seconds launch, creating a 3,000 point dot. Now you want Flames of Oblivion on bar 1 and bar 2 in the same spot. If you don't, the second you swap this, if that's not actually on your second bar anywhere, it turns it off. That's the only way you can keep it active 24/7. Now bar 2, you have, counting backwards, you have Hardened Armor. Hardened Armor, of course, is your Dragonknight staple. Basically increases physical resistance and spell resistance by 5,000. When active, armor returns 484 magic damage to melee attackers, and for 3.5 seconds after activation, absorbs up to 10% of your max health. When you initially charge in, you'll be soaking with 10 hit points. Elude. This is off the medium armor tree. Shroud yourself in mist for the major evasion. You get a 20% chance, an additional 5 for each piece. You can also use the alternate version of this upgrade. It's up to you. But this is more defense. Now that's the Critical Rush. Critical Rush is now you're starting the attack. You launch for 3,000 damage and additional 68% based on distance traveled. Then the only actual normal attack on this bar will be the unstable flame. That's because it is a dot. You're going to pop this dot as soon as like you do critical rush, swap over, and then proceed to start with your damage. Now you want to always keep up molten ornaments, which is why it's weird to have a buff on the front. The reason I have a buff on the front is if you go under class, Earth and Heart is Mountain's Blessing. Every time you activate an Earth and Heart ability, you gain 3 ultimate. This is going to occur every 6 seconds. In addition, it gains minor brutality to all allies within 30 meters, increasing weapon damage by 5%. This stacks upon all the other damage boosts you're already getting. So you want this in front because every 6 to 7 seconds or so, or when it's about to wear off, you want to reactivate this constantly because you want to build this ultimate ASAP. The more ultimate you can build, the better, flat out. Whereas this dot is not necessary and it lasts 10 seconds, not 8. So you want to definitely, well, this is 9, but this lasts less and you're popping it also to increase your corrosive armor or any other ultimate you have here. Okay, another key is Battle Roar. Whenever activating an ultimate, it restores health, magicka, and stamina in amounts increased by 70% of the ultimate's cost. So 70% of 200 ultimate is basically going to come back. So that's actually a lot more health because it's a multiplier. It doesn't really tell you, but when you do the calculations, you're pretty much going to get pretty much all your health, armor, and stamina back. Okay, now that I've showed you all this, it's time to show you an action. You're going to go in, dot, do Wrecking Blow, get an additional 20, then the additional 10, and then you're going to pop, do a heavy attack. Then after you do a heavy attack, you're probably already ready for critical. The Executioner, because that heavy attack with 20, 10, it's 73% bonus damage on that heavy attack. Then it hits again. They're below 50%. You hit them, and then you're going to get the bonus on less than 50% health, 300%, but you're also getting 310% because you get the additional bonus for just doing a heavy attack. Okay, let's show this in action. Let's find a poor unfortunate victim. Okay, rotation. 1, 4, switch, 4, 3, charge, switch. I didn't even get to the Executioner. Okay. Executioner. I'm stuck. There we go. There we go. Got a little fuzzy there. I got stuck somehow. Let me adjust this back, get in a better view. See, it even works if you make mistakes. You can tell I'm used to playing a tank because I'm used to just standing there like a moron. Okay, let's do the rotation again. Let's 3. Show that number of enemies doesn't matter. Executioner, Executioner, Executioner. Okay, as you can see, this is incredibly easy. I'm not even doing that well. Okay, let's try to do this right. Okay, 4, 1... Always finish with Executioner. Crap, everything's dead. Okay, let's find some targets. 4, 1. Buff, buff, charge, dot, switch. Eventually, switch. Uppercut, heavy attack, and normally Executioner. Well, looks like the fireball finished off. Let's try it again. 4, 1, switch, buff, buff, charge, dot, switch, uppercut, heavy attack, and would-be executioner if they actually manage to live through it. As you can see, this is ridiculous. I'm just basically steamrolling everything. 4-1. Dot, switch, uppercut, power attack. Then uppercut, power attack, executioner, executioner. As you can see, it's pretty self-explanatory, not a big deal. Now there's something I've left out of the rotation for a reason. I haven't even needed it yet. Now let's show you how this works with Ultimate. You're going to get all your stats back. See, it doesn't really matter. Look how much ultimate I'm getting here. Look at this. See what I mean? Pretty much self-explanatory. And there you go. One each Nord Dragonknight, and I'll show you more, but I gotta keep the video down to a limit, so say goodbye, Svetlana. Goodbye.